Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can build out a really high quality omni-channel text agent, which can work across WhatsApp, SMS, Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs, and other messaging platforms, also a website chatbot as well. Now, the way we build out this agent is we use OpenAI's Assistance API. So I'm going to show you exactly how to prompt it, how to engineer a prompt in order to get the most appropriate responses. Now, one thing business owners sometimes don't understand is they don't see how speed to lead can actually increase conversions significantly, right? Business owners are sometimes responding to their leads within 24 hours, 12 hours. They've sometimes got someone in there who's doing, all of that work for them, but one person is handling hundreds of leads, which means that they're responding, within a few hours, which is really, really slow, and it's really going to have a huge impact in terms of conversion rates. I've got this one fact here, right? Leads contacted within the first 5 minutes are 100 times more likely to convert than those reached after 30 minutes. So just that small difference between 5 minutes and 30 minutes makes a huge difference in terms of how your likeliness in terms of converting leads, right? So imagine if you expand this out over the period of 24 hours, right? When you get to the 24-hour mark and you're contacting leads after 24 hours, after a few hours, the likeliness of converting them is very, very slim, right? Just because you haven't responded to them within the first few minutes. So now I'm going to show you exactly how we can build out an omni-channel agent which is able to respond to every single query within a matter of 1 or 2 minutes. So let's show you this agent, right? So this is OpenAI's Assistance API. This is their OpenAI's playground where I've created a demo assistant which is prompted very specifically, and I've just made it for this business called Demo Fitness. The name of the assistant is Amy, and we've given it this scenario, this bit of context where it's having a conversation via WhatsApp. And now we've given it specific tasks as well. So it's aimed at onboarding new leads. So it will pre-qualify any new leads that come through, and it will then direct them via the relevant next steps. So what we'll do is we'll just add in a step here. So at the moment, it's just pre-qualifying the lead, just asking them these 3 questions. And then what we can do is we can add in a bit more information. So let's have a read through this. So it says you can work through the following questions to pre-qualify any new leads. You must only ask one question at a time. Keep the conversation natural and human-like. Don't rush through any pre-qualifying questions. And then we have these questions. What experience do you have with going to the gym? What would you be interested in working with one of our personal trainers? And how eager are you to get started? So what we'll do is we'll say once. Okay, so we've just added this little line here which would present the lead with a booking link for booking their free trial class once they've answered their pre-qualifying questions. So the reason we do this after the pre-qualifying questions is obviously we want to ensure that the lead, they have that intent on joining the gym. So we're not looking to just give the link to everyone who, maybe just wants a free trial class. So we pre-qualify them, find out a bit more about them, and then we would give them the link and direct them via the next steps to book. Now, one thing we can also do here, so we give it a bunch of rules in terms of how we want the agent to actually communicate and come across. And these are sort of specific rules based on, how we want it to engage. So obviously we can make changes here if we want to adjust the tone and voice of the agent for the business. So maybe we want to give it a more premium tone of voice, or maybe a more sort of friendly, informal sort of voice. But for here, it would just be, friendly, natural, relatable. It would just have that kind of conversational tone. So it's a bit more of a general prompt here for our agent. Now, you also notice this section here where we can actually add in example FAQs, and we can give an example conversation as well. So what we can do here is, let's get rid of the example conversation. Just for demo purposes, I'll show you how we can add example FAQs. So often people ask, how much does it cost? They might also ask, how do I join the free trial? They might also ask, do I need to bring anything to the trial? So let's go ahead and write answers. So these are just example FAQs to guide the AI in terms of how you want it to answer really specific questions. So usually, a common question, probably one of the most common, is how much does it cost, right? So let's say this. So we start, we so I've given this as a guide. So what we can do is we can just take this range. So we have membership options ranging. How do I run the free trial? Okay, so for this question, we can write the answer. So with this booking link, obviously we want people who are, actually showing some high intent in terms of joining the gym. So with this landing, with this link, we can actually direct it to a landing page, and within the landing page, we can also incorporate a survey as well. So we can have a few sort of pre-qualifying questions just prior to them actually booking the trial, and that will allow us to collect a bit more data on the back end, and then we can also gauge what people's goals are and sort of why they're joining, and that can sort of inform us in terms of actually delivering the service. But yeah, again, we can obviously adjust this. So if we didn't want them to book their trial in before answering these questions, we can adjust this to make sure the agent actually answers the ask the pre-qualifying questions first. But yeah, for this, we'll just sort of show you how an agent kind of interacts with a user. So do I need to bring anything to Okay, cool. So those are some of the answers to questions. Obviously, if you have a lot more, then you can add a lot more in. We can also upload a file in here as well. So we can actually add in a knowledge base, which we can use to provide a lot more information to the actual agent, right? So in terms of the specific settings, we usually set the temperature to 0.01, and I like to set it to 0.1 or below, just because this essentially the temperature controls how random the agent is and how on task it is as well, how well it follows the specifics of the prompt. So keeping the temperature low is really important. Then with top P, we don't change it, we just keep it stuck at 1, but that's not something that you need to worry about too much. Now, if we go through the prompt sort of line by line and break it down, you can see we've written the prompt in Markdown format. Now, Markdown is best for prompting AI agents in terms of giving them a clear role. We give them specifics, we give them a task, we give them rules, we can give them example FAQs, and as you saw before, we can also give them an example conversation so they can see a past conversation or an example conversation and then be able to understand exactly how to answer questions. Now, in terms of the context, this basically just gives a bit more information about the actual business. So for the role, we've given them a name and we've also given them a kind of role within the actual business. So your name's Amy and you're an admin assistant at Demo Fitness. And then we've just given them a little bit of context here as well in terms of what they're doing and what their actual task involves. And then for context, we've said Demo Fitness is a gym based in London. We offer memberships for high profile customers, and these memberships are priced from £100 per month to £500 per month. So that's just all we really need for context. You can also add a little bit more information, but usually, some of this information is pretty redundant because most of these leads will come through sort of knowing that this is Demo Fitness. They'll know a little bit about the business already. And then in terms of specifics, we say do not be too formal. Now, the reason we sort of emphasize this in capital letters is because the agent will take this into consideration because it's a really important point. So we want to essentially emphasize it, right? So we say do not be too formal, try to be friendly, natural, relatable, and conversational. Instead of referring to Demo Fitness like this, at Demo Fitness we, you must use phrases like we do this or we ... So try to address us as we rather than repeatedly saying at Demo Fitness. So sometimes the agent can actually represent Demo Fitness by saying at Demo Fitness we and then ... But we want it to actually come across as an actual assistant as part of Demo Fitness, right? So we use phrases, or we've prompted it to use phrases like we do this or we
do, dot, dot, dot. And that essentially makes it seem as more of a part of Demo Fitness rather than coming across as some sort of third-party assistant, which is, maybe like representing Demo Fitness. So yeah, this sort of just helps it to engage and conversate in a more natural way. And then we also say do not be pushy and do not repeat itself. Sometimes the agents can repeat itself, so we need to prompt it accordingly. And then we also say do not always say if you have any questions, feel free to ask, or if you need anything, let me know, or let me know if there's anything else you need at the end of the message. So we want it to just sort of give them the answer and try to be as human as possible. Obviously, sometimes it would be useful for it to ask, if they have any further questions, but we don't want it to ask that every single time. Then in terms of the task, we give it a specific task. So we say you can work through the following questions to pre-qualify any new leads. You must only ask one question at a time. Keep the conversation natural and human-like, and don't rush through the pre-qualifying questions. And then we give it a bunch of pre-qualifying questions. And obviously, as we prompted it before, we've then asked it, to present the booking link at the end of asking the pre-qualifying questions. And then in terms of the rules, we've given it a bunch of specific rules. So we say if conversation history shows that you know the prospect and you've spoken to prospect, then act as if you know them. And then we also say keep the responses short and sweet, just like a real human conversation. And then we say you are an intelligent, educated, and witty individual. You can communicate thoroughly, but are encouraging and pushy when need be. You also bring out your sarcastic side when needed. And then also be persuasive and highlight how amazing Demo Fitness really is. You must sound friendly and human-like. Do not use emojis and don't be too pushy. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the rules. I tend to use this pretty much every single time in terms of the overall structure of the prompt and also like the rules. This prompt works very well in terms of how we guide the agent, and we can actually just go ahead and test that. So if we just send a quick message, we just say, hey. So yeah, the agent just says, hey there, how's it going? And then we can say, how do I join your gym? And what do you guys offer? Okay, so you can see here, we've got a pretty good response. So you can say you can start by booking a free trial class with us. Just head over to www.bookhere.com to get started. We offer memberships ranging from £100 a month to £500 a month, catering to high profile customers. We've got top-notch equipment, personal trainers, and a great community vibe. What are you most interested in? And then we can say, I personally train calisthenics. Do you have for this? Now, obviously, we haven't prompted the agent to handle the specific question. So what we would do in the future is if we need to handle questions like this, we would obviously need to prompt the agent. So at the moment, it's sort of, kind of making up the answer. But it says, absolutely, we've got a dedicated space for calisthenics with all the equipment you might need. Plus, our trainers are pretty knowledgeable about it too. How long have you been into calisthenics? So you can see it tries to engage with the user, build that rapport, and then aim to obviously convert them, right? So that's sort of how the agent would work. And obviously with the prompting, at the moment it's quite vague, so we can prompt it with a lot more knowledge in terms of the FAQs. We can feed in a huge knowledge base as well, and then we can also guide it a lot more specifically in terms of the conversation by also providing example conversations as well. So in terms of the tone and voice, the agent comes across really, really good, right? It's very, very engaging, and it's also able to answer questions really, really well as well in terms of how it structures its responses. So this is probably the best way in terms of how you can actually structure an agent. And then obviously we can connect this into systems on the back end in order to actually output these responses via WhatsApp and deploy these agents to WhatsApp, Facebook, SMS, Instagram DMs, a website chatbot, all of these different platforms where we can actually deploy this agent. So if you want to try this completely for free, if you want actually more guidance on how we can integrate this into other platforms, then let me know. I've got a bunch of free resources that I can send over. So yeah, feel free to drop a comment down below. You can alternatively, book in a call with me via my website. So my website is rjmediahub.com. You can book in you can book in a call with me, and then we can actually hop on a call and I can walk you through exactly how we can set this up. But yeah, if you want all the free resources, feel free to follow the links in the description down below, or drop a comment down below and I'll be happy to respond and help you guys out. Now that's it for this video. Hope that was helpful, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Thanks.